Hi everyone, very good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time zone you are in. How many Harry Potter fans here? Um, so thank you. So basically, like the word pensieve here is like a clever amalgamation or reuse of the tool that Dumbledore used in Harry Potter, like a place or a memory palace where he could just like put in all his memory thoughts and things like that. And when I had to like think about parallels to the current Muggle world, like I had to think about like what would leaders like me do? Like, we have to have some kind of a memory palace to manage the amount of cognitive workload that we do. So introducing Pensieve AI, which is basically going to solve that problem for us. So let me go deeper. So we have agents to our rescue most of the time. So like we use agents as much as possible. What if we are able to have agents galore or a team of ourselves as leaders who could assist us in this memory world? So going back into the problem statement here, right? Like I want to introduce Samantha here. Like she's an engineering leader. Her day is filled with a lot of load. She logs in the morning to opening up to a bunch of Slack messages. She's part of thousands of Slack channels, out of which she's mentioned it like in like 40 of those. And she has to like process all this information to be ready for the day. Meanwhile, her calendar is full. She has her meetings loading up. She has her day coming in place. And in every meeting, there is a different context that she needs to be part of. And some meetings are strategic meetings, some meetings are difficult conversations, some meetings are like, pure execution reviews and things like that, or interviews for that matter. Like she has to do an interview, she has to spend an hour on the interview and then like an hour synthesizing the feedback to hire the right candidate for her teams. And there is also like a lot of ad hoc conversations that keeps happening, and like she has to have all those things. And meanwhile her boss calls her on the phone and says, what's latest with this project, where are we there? And like she has to immediately change her context to that project, get retrieve those information and be able to present it to her boss. So when this kind of cognitive load is there, what if we have a memory palace of ourselves for the leaders so that we will be able to answer and do our day jobs better and use our brains for what it is meant to do, which is generating ideas. So agents to our rescue. So basically, like if you see here, right, like these are like the who's who of leadership space. Like if you think about personal assistant, I don't think you can get anybody better than Donna, like, or anybody who has better memory than Mike, using the suits analogy. And as a leader, you have to hire the best talent out there. And Jeff Smart and Randy Street are like some of the best leaders out there, like knowledge experts in terms of hiring. And there's nobody else who can be better than Joseph Grenny for having crucial conversations. And when it comes to strategy, it's always Richard Rummel and John Doerr when it comes to like coming up with the right strategy, metrics, OKRs, and so on, which every leader wants. So what if we have an agentic version of these leaders with us as our toolbit, which we with whom we can actually play around and like with whom we can consult on a day-to-day basis, and they can be our coaches in real times to be able to make our jobs better as leaders every day. So just a little bit of like a very 50,000 feet view on like how it's technically organized in a way. Like all these are specific agents that we are there, and each agent is actually educated with the context. Like for example, the conversation wizard agent is well known with the literature of Joseph Grenny's Crucial Conversations. Strategy coach has like the context of good strategy, bad strategy, John Doerr's like measure what matters and things like that. Like, so when the leaders actually have to do the day-to-day job when it comes to strategy, interviews, and things like that, they will be in a better position to, like, soundboard their ideas, do their job faster. So when, for example, if I have to do a strategy doc, what would technically take 5 iterations to get one draft ready will probably be like the first draft itself will be like 5 times reviewed doc in a way. So it helps in the productivity of the leader and also like frees up their mental space to move towards something like or think their thoughts on actual strategy and direction for their teams. All right, without further ado, I would like to go into the demo. So if you see here, this is how the Pensieve AI looks. It's like I brand it as like IDE for leaders. So like how an integrated development environment is there for leaders, there's an IDE. So we'll be able to take notes. I've taken a bunch of notes here. So we could just click on plus and like start typing out notes. And then if you have a question, like you could just ask something like, what is the latest on Project Phoenix? And it will be able to process your notes. It will be able to process like your other docs and other things that you have read, which gets at runtime chunked and ingested into your vector database locally. So the next is the interview wizard. So basically, I can actually say I'm interviewing for this role. I can actually like upload a resume on the left, and then I can actually like like in the interest of time, I have actually pre-populated these conversations, but I can actually have an interview transcript running. And then there is an interview buddy agent, which is constantly looking at the resume, the rubric that I have fed to the system, the interview notes, and it's prompting me as an interviewer on what other questions can I ask for it to be able to be effective, like so that I can get the right signals. Just to clarify, it is not going to be giving me the interview question bank, but what it is going to do is based on the transcript, suggest me, hey, you should probably ask about a leadership challenge situation here. Like, like that's something that you need to get more clarity on. You're interviewing somebody for director of engineering, you should be able to get it. So the next is like the strategy, right? Like, so I can go in and I can type saying like, hey, I want to get a strategy for Pensieve, for example. So, and I should be in a position to like say, hey, Pensieve strategy and call it like, and like say, memory palace for leaders. So and if I start a coaching session, so basically the strategy coach can just say, hey, like, let's like break it down. Like you can't go into a strategy based on a one-liner. It starts asking, prompting you based on the framework in the background, asking questions around, hey, what is the problem statement? What is the diagnostic? What is the guiding principles? And it goes into different levels. The last part, which is very, very important for a leader, is having difficult conversations. So, so when we have here, like, for example, like on a day-to-day basis, we have conflict situations. So I can basically say something like, hey, this is my situation. This is the message I would like to deliver to this individual. And actually, like I can say like the other party's gender and also like say the moderate, like whether the conversation's levels, like whether the other person can be difficult or easy for me. And I can actually mock or a role play. There is a role play agent that is running in the background that basically plays the role of the other person that I am trying to mimic and actually has the difficult conversation with me. So moment like as leaders, we have these conversations once or twice, then it no longer becomes difficult in the moment when we are actually delivering those messages. And it also is able to generate feedback for me. So just to go over, like in the interest of time, I didn't have to, I mean, I didn't go through with every single pieces of the demo, but I thought like I will, like at least like this is how the interview wizard used to work. So I can give the rubric in place. I can, like add it in, start an interview and then transcripts and things like that. So this is how difficult conversations used to work. Like, so like it'll have a practice session with me and then it'll give me an analysis on like based on again Joseph Greeny's crucial conversations literature. Hey, these are all the things that you did well. Like you initiated the conversation well. These are all the areas of improvement where you can do better, making our jobs really, really easy as leaders. So we don't have that mental overload at the time of actually delivering these things. So same with strategy, it goes into the mode of like constantly asking questions, like it asks prompting questions. And then finally, when I say like, can you give me a strategy doc based on it, it can give you a first template of the doc that you can export to a doc file and like, start iterating over it. Of course, the strategy is yours, the idea is yours, everything is yours, but you are having a coach at your disposal sitting next to you, trying to help you with your day to day. So like in terms of like the target
30 seconds
market,
left.
in terms of the target market, I'm thinking about leaders. So one last note before is like the idea is to have privacy in place because these are complex business information. So the idea is to have a local, like have this as a local app and have like Olama or some local models running in your system so that you don't run the risk of sharing your business information outside to the world. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really loved my presence here and presenting to you all. Thanks a lot for your time.